Hello and welcome from the sidelines of the ICR Orlando 2024 conference. I'm Jarrett Banks, editor-at-large of IPO Edge, joined by Joe Vrankin, the CEO of Puttshack. Joe, welcome to the program.
Jarrett, thanks for having me.
Now, I'm a big golf fan. Perhaps you could tell us a little bit about how Puttshack got started.
Sure. So Puttshack was invented by identical twin brothers out of London who are avid golfers and they're avid inventors. And they took a look at miniature golf and they said, the game hasn't changed in 100 years. How can we reinvent the game? And so that was the idea that started them on their path to creating a way to do things completely differently within the game.
Now, you've got a very unique business. Walk us through your key differentiators.
Sure. So we believe that within the social entertainment space, there's three key things that differentiates a concept. One is a fun and compelling game, which Puttshack has with the way that we've invented playing miniature golf. So the great thing about it is it's the world's only high-tech infused miniature golf game that's out there. What the inventors were able to do is essentially put a mini iPad within the golf ball, and that enables us to track the ball in every inch of every hole. And therefore, they've also been able to Bluetooth enable it, GPS, and so it keeps score for you automatically. So now when you come out and play, you really are just totally immersed within the game, the people that you're with, and playing something that you can only play at Puttshack. That by itself is great, and people love it, and they'll come back for that. Long term though, our view was we needed to create an equally compelling casual dining experience and a food and beverage offering that exceeds what our guests would typically expect. So we set out in creating global food flavors from around the world. Mark Boynton, who heads our food and beverage, is a French-trained executive chef, has created incredible offerings, and then that's partnered with the drink side of it. You know, in today's day and age, we spend as much time on signature cocktails as we do signature dishes. So those two things are kind of two of our key anchors that we call the triple threat. The third is really that guest service experience. How our associates can tie it all together. When people go out now, you know, they're looking for not only experiences, but they're looking to create memories. And how can our associates tie that together? Competitively, the great thing about miniature golf is it's multi-generational. You know, it's accessible to everybody, whether you're 7 years old or you're 77 years old. So during the day, you'll get a lot of people who will come to Puttshack with families. We do a lot of corporate events. In the evening, we turn into an adult-only facility, and it turns into much more of a high-end nightclub feel.
Okay, can you elaborate a little bit more about the proprietary technology?
Sure. So we have a patented technology. It's called trackable technology. So as I said, it's like a mini iPad within that golf ball. And the inventors of the game, the Jolloffs, were able to create a concept patent. So we have some technical patents, which are great, but we own a concept patent of automatic scoring in miniature golf. And what that means is that somebody else could come in and say, oh, I can put completely different technology in the golf ball and I can automatically score the game. If it automatically scores the game, it violates the concept that we own of automatic scoring in miniature golf. So that's a huge differentiator for us because not only are we the only ones in the world that have high-tech miniature golf, we're the only ones that can continue to do that, and we have another 12 years left on our patent.
So nobody can cheat.
Nobody can cheat. That's exactly it. All of our holes are really designed for our core demographic, which is that 21 to 39-year-old. So we have a beer pong hole, we have a roulette hole, we have a trivia pursuit hole, so you'll get a true-false question that'll come up. If you think the answer is true, you put under a bridge that says true. If you think it's false, you put under a bridge that says false. So if you get it right, you score bonus points. If you get it wrong, you lose points. So part of reinventing the game was you're now trying to get the highest score possible as opposed to the lowest score possible. So you get bonus points for a hole-in-one, and every hole has features where you can either score bonus points or hazards where you'll lose points.
Very cool. How are you capitalizing on commercial real estate trends?
So for us, again, the great thing is our core demographic is the hardest one for people to garner, right? So, you know, if we happen to have a location that it's in a mall, we tend to be focused on outdoor lifestyle malls, et cetera. But they're trying to drive that 21 to 39-year-old, and particularly the male demographic in particular. And our venues, they're 25,000 square feet on average, and will draw between 350 and 425 visitors a year in the exact demographic that our developers are looking for. So whether it's a mall or a mixed-use development, like in West Midtown Atlanta, where they also have office space, residential, and a boutique hotel, they're trying to drive that same demographic. And so we anchor their retail development portion of that.
Got it. What are you seeing in terms of consumer demand?
Sure. Well, like everybody else, the second half of 2023 saw a softening in the consumer side. We weren't immune to that. The great thing about Puttshack as a business and the economic model is we have the ability to drive a lot of revenue through the game side. So over 40% of our revenue is game driven, and then the other 58-60% is food and beverage. And so while a lot of concepts, when they get a softening in the consumer side, that materially impacts their profitability, it's not necessarily the same with us. So while we saw an impact, it wasn't nearly the same. Definitely we saw it on our walk-in side. On the event side, actually we exceeded our target numbers in 2023. December was actually really strong, both from a walk-in guest as well as the event side of the business. And then we didn't see any decrease in our walk-in guest spend per visit. And actually we saw an increase on the event side on the spend per visit. So I think one of the things that's unique about the concept of Puttshack, we have 15 locations that are open now, 11 in the US, 4 in the UK. All 15 venues that we've ever opened have been profitable in the first 30 days that they've opened. So late in the year, we opened in Nashville in November. We opened on Black Friday. We had 5 trading days, and Nashville was profitable for the month of November with just 5 days of trading.
Wow.
So, the consumer traffic has obviously, dipped in the last 6 months. We're at least seeing over the last 5 weeks that begin to shift. Hopefully that'll turn into a trend. We'll see. But for us, the great thing is it isn't impacting our guest spend when they walk in the doors, and it isn't impacting our event business.
All right, great. Last question. You talked a lot about innovation. What can we expect to see from Puttshack in 2024 in terms of growth?
Sure. So we opened 6 venues in 2023. We opened 6 new markets. As we expand into 2024 and beyond, we'll begin to open second locations in markets we've already established. So we'll be opening a second location in Boston, in the suburbs of Natick. We'll be opening a second Atlanta location. We'll be opening a second Chicago suburban location. And then we'll continue to open new markets. We're focusing both on the top 20 markets. So we'll be opening Philadelphia in the first quarter as an example. But then we'll also begin opening outside the top 20 markets. So we opened Nashville late in 2023. We're going to open Louisville, Kentucky. We'll also be opening in Fort Lauderdale in 2024 and Minneapolis in 2024. So we'll open another 7 locations in 2024. So we should end this year with 22 locations, and then continue to look to open 7, 8, 9 locations from 2025 on. One of the things that has worked really well for us, we have been very fortunate on the real estate side to command a large contribution from our development partners, the landlords, and with that, they all want to know that we're going to be able to deliver what we say. Right? So if we say we're going to be able to deliver 375,000, 400,000 visitors, they want to know that that's the case. Every developer that we've worked with, as soon as we've opened and we've actually delivered what we said we were, they've all come back to want us to do additional locations and developments that they have around the country. So our focus is really to roll Puttshack out, every major market, all the, as many top, tier 2 markets as we can. We're really focused on, at this point, as we look into 25 and 26, the top 50 markets around the country, and really all across north, south, east, and west. So We're in a really good position right now. We're growing, incredibly strong. The venues are all doing really well. And the great thing is it works really well in good times, but the real strength of the concept is when things get softer, because even in those times, we're incredibly profitable and can continue to drive the business forward and continue the growth plan and not have to slow that down.
Okay, we'll leave it there. My thanks to Joe Vrankin, the CEO of Puttshack. This is Jarrett Banks signing off from the sidelines of the ICR Orlando Conference.